want to also speak to Mr. Putin's remarks this morning. You know, America and its allies are not going, let me emphasize, are not going to be intimidated, by Putin and his reckless words and threats. He's not going to scare us, and he doesn't, or intimidate us. Putin's actions are a sign he's struggling. The sham referenda he carried out and this routine he put on, don't worry, it's not on there if you're looking, okay? The sham routine that he put on this morning that's showing the unity and, you know, as people holding hands together. Well, the United States is never going to recognize this. And quite frankly, the world's not going to recognize it either. He can't seize his neighbor's territory and get away with it. It's as simple as that. And they're going to stay the course. They're going to continue to provide military equipment so that Ukraine can defend itself and its territory and its freedom, including additional resources that the Congress is going to give me today of $13 billion more to help the Ukrainians defend themselves and fight back. And we're fully prepared to defend. I want to say this again. America is fully prepared with our NATO allies to defend every single inch of NATO territory. Every single inch. So, Mr. Putin, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Every inch. And I've been in close touch with our allies. We're announcing new sanctions today as well, that including new authorities to sanction anyone who provides political or economic support to Russia's fraudulent territorial claims. And I've been in close touch with our NATO allies who are united in our resolve to take on his aggression. I thank you all very much. You also asked me earlier about the pipeline, and let me say this. It was a deliberate act of sabotage, and now the Russians are pumping out disinformation and lies. We're going to work with our allies to get to the bottom of precisely what happened. And at my direction, I've already begun to help our allies enhance the protection of this critical infrastructure. And at the appropriate moment when things calm down, we're going to be sending divers down to find out exactly what happened. We don't know that yet exactly, but we're not, just don't listen to what Putin is saying. What he's saying we know is not true.
The number of nurses leaving the profession in England has hit a record high, according to new analysis by the Nuffield Trust for the BBC. In the year to June 2022, more than 40,000 qualified nurses left NHS employment. That's 11.5% of the total workforce. Our health editor, Hugh Pym, reports.
I just had to leave this poor mum who's just left her brand newly diagnosed child with cancer and just say, I'm really sorry, there's nobody to look after you. And that just felt like I'd failed that mum so much.
From frontline care to running a coffee shop, Amanda, after 20 years as a paediatric nurse in West Yorkshire, decided the stress and strain of NHS work was too much and it was time for a new career.
For me, I wanted to leave because I was burnt out. I was completely burnt out. I didn't feel that I was meeting the mark anymore. I felt like I was letting families down, I was letting parents down. The profession has changed immeasurably over probably the last 10 years. Nobody could say they're truly happy in the NHS.
Amanda isn't alone in quitting the nursing profession. Over the last year, more than 40,000 nurses in England left NHS employment. According to the Nuffield Trust think tank, the number of nurses joining, shown here by the blue line, is rising, but the total leaving, including for maternity leave, the red line, is going up fast. This latest research comes at a time when NHS providers representing trusts in England has voiced concern about the impact of the rising cost of living on staff. Employers are finding it's difficult sometimes to hang on to skilled healthcare workers who want to leave to take less stressful and better paid jobs.
We've heard some heartrending stories around a nurse having to skip meals to fund school uniforms, for example, and about people being worried about covering the cost of getting into work. And all of that is having a chilling effect on recruitment and retention in the NHS at almost the worst possible moment when we've already got over 130,000 vacancies and we are trying to gear up for quite a challenging winter ahead.
The Nuffield Trust said the proportion of nurses quitting in Scotland was almost the same as in England. Similar data is not available for Wales and Northern Ireland. The Department of Health said nurse numbers had increased in England since 2019, and there would be a long-term workforce plan to help recruit and retain more staff. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
Candace Owens is a keen observer of all of this. She hosts a great podcast. She joins us tonight with Reaction. Candace Owens, I would love to see someone die in this country without getting a lecture posthumously. Oh, you died of smoking. You died because you didn't get the facts. You died because you drive an SUV. Can't we just acknowledge death as a sad thing, give it the reverence it deserves, and move on?
Well, not if you're a member of the Democratic Party, because they're utter sociopaths and psychopaths. And when they see these tragedies take place, by the way, this is the same methodology that takes place with school shootings. You would think that we could mourn and we can be sad, but they say, wait a second, there are some children that are dead, so allow us to get in front of cameras and tell you why you need to give us more power. And the fact that they think about their own power and consuming more power when tragedy strikes is, as I said, an example of that they are utter psychopaths. And what's going on, obviously, is an extreme tragedy, but as you pointed out, Tucker, it is a natural tragedy. The Earth has hurricanes. If there was no human beings that walked the face of the planet, there would continue to be hurricanes, like there would continue to be blizzards, and like there would continue to be tornadoes. There's no lobby, in my opinion, that should be laughed at harder than the climate lobby, because they just keep being proven wrong. Now, when I was a kid, I was told it was global warming. Hide under your desk, kids. The polar bears are going to drown because there's global warming. But they stopped using that language around 2011 because accidentally the Earth started to cool and disproved their narrative. Before my generation, by the way, Tucker, there was a generation that was told global cooling was going to spell the end of the world. Except what happened was they were proven wrong and the Earth started to warm. There was the ozone layer. Remember the ozone layer, the hole in the ozone layer. Yes. Oops, that actually wasn't a tragedy, and so they moved on. There was the acidic oceans. There was going to be acidic rain because the oceans were acid. Oops, that didn't happen, and so they moved on. They've been wrong over and over and over again. Their climate models are a complete fraud, and yet they're still allowed to look you in the face when a natural disaster strikes and tell you, well, you know what, I know we've been wrong forever and we've never once gotten it right, but give us your money anyways. These people are sick.
Well, I completely agree with that. And in general, people's kooky theories don't bother me. You can be a flat earther, a circumcision activist. Well, you can be whatever you want to be. But if you try and take over my power grid on the basis of your ridiculous theories, then I think we have a right to fight back, no?
We absolutely have a right to fight back, and where we need to start is in the education system, because my mind was polluted about climate change, or about global warming rather, because they sat us down in health class and they made us watch Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. That was a lie. It never came into fruition, and they keep focusing on these young generations to sell them fear for their own power.
You're totally, man, no one can sum it up more crisply than you. Candace Owens, thank you.
Thank you.
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube channel to catch our nightly opens, stories that are changing the world and changing your life. From Tucker Carlson tonight.
To Elwyn Lopez, who is there in Charleston with the latest on all of this. Good morning, Elwyn.
Hey, Cecilia, good morning. We are starting to feel Ian's impact here as it roars closer to us, targeting the Carolinas. Now, I want you to take a look at this. This is the Ashley River. There are about 200 or so boats here. We know that some people live on these boats. They have retied them. Many people have left. Now, the governor here has declared a state of emergency, but has not ordered any evacuations. The main concern here, of course, is the potential for a life-threatening storm surge, as well as flash flooding. We did see a lot of people leaving car after car on I-26 yesterday, heading out of Charleston, and you can see exactly why. The people that live in low-lying areas are concerned, because the last time that South Carolina had a landfall of a hurricane here was in 2016 with Hurricane Matthew. Now, the concern as well is that this is going to make landfall during high tide, so that could exacerbate storm surge here. Now, officials are reminding people that this is not just a coastal event, but an event that will impact much of South Carolina over the next few days. Wet.
Very similar to what we saw there in Florida as well. Elwyn, Hurricane Ian has now made landfall in South Carolina. It did it at 2:05 just a few minutes ago, although the weaker wind speed now means it is a Category 1. The water that it is bringing with it is still, as we've been saying, extremely dangerous. Back with me now on the ground in Charleston is NBC's Shaq Brewster. So Shaq, we left it last we spoke with just the acknowledgement that they call it the low country out there for a reason. Explain what that means.
Yeah. Well, what they mean is because it's sitting so low, it's more prone to flooding. I mean, these are areas that get flooded on a regular basis. And when you were talking to residents in this area asking how they're preparing for the storm, well, they say they're used to it. They're cleaning out storm drains. They're putting up sandbags in the areas that they're used to. And, you know, when we were last talking, the conditions were much different. I was talking about the tropical storm wind gusts and the tropical storm level rain that we were seeing. You see now the sky's clearing up. The sun's trying to peek out behind the clouds. And the rain, while it's still a little bit here, you have a couple of drizzles, it's just much different than what we saw even just a half hour ago. So back then, that was when we heard from the police department. They said that they were sheltering in place for the time being because of the conditions of the storm. We know that even 2 hours before the Hurricane Ian made impact, we know that nearly 24 roads in this area were closed. Intersections were closed because of what they saw with the wind gusts over the past couple of hours. It looks fortunately like those wind conditions are coming down. We are about 2 hours away from the previous high tide, so we know water in some areas is receding at this point. So positive news so far, but you're still seeing from officials and hearing from officials that they want people to stay inside because we know those bands can still whip around and it's not quite over just yet, Katie.